Hello and welcome to Real Vision and the Defiant's weekly chinwag about fintech, nestled uncomfortably somewhere in the no man's land between tapering and aping, as we eyeball the mass ranks of legacy and increasingly mass-adopted decentralized financial systems, keeping their advantage on lock by sheer weight of numbers. Are Elaine from Real Vision and Camila Russo from the Defiant. I am still apparently Robin Schmidt, for now, at least anyway, also from the Defiant. Elaine, you were talking about NFTs this week, but what else has been on your radar? What have you been picking up on? What big story has got you fidgeting this week?
So one of the things for me, and I wanted to ask you guys about big companies moving into the metaverse. And finally, Walmart is doing some things in the background. So they've basically filed for a couple of trademarks, and one of them was to offer their users virtual currency plus NFTs. And it was filed to the US Patent and Trademark Office on the 30th of December. And I'm actually going to read to you the trademark application. So this is what Walmart said. Downloadable software for use in managing portfolios of digital currency, virtual currency, cryptocurrency, digital and blockchain assets, digitized assets, digital tokens, crypto tokens, and utility tokens. Downloadable software for electronic wallet services, downloadable e-wallets. Now, if this is not telling you that mass crypto adoption is coming for us, then I don't know what is.
Well, true story here, Walmart's been in crypto for some time. Did you know that?
What?
They didn't.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
Walmart China partnered up with VeChain to track goods across the supply chain way back, like 2018 or so. So they've been in this space a little bit. Cami, you have another one?
No, Walmart weren't they also involved in this like supply chain finance deal with, I think it was Deloitte or something. Remember, like back in 2018.
That's the same deal. So VeChain and Deloitte were kind of like this. Like a lot of things that people don't know about VeChain, they play nice with big companies, and they play nice in the supply chain, but they're just kind of boring now. But Walmart is in there. You say first big company. Well, not necessarily. Adidas is connected to the metaverse via Adidas Originals. That came out before Christmas. And then Nike's partnered up with Artifact, and they're taking a big step into the world of the metaverse. It's just interesting because it's a big box retailer. So Cami, do you have any thoughts on this one? Because I know my first reaction is like, oh.
Same.
I'm all about it.
I don't know. Like, it just seems like, like we've seen this time and time again. Like, crypto becomes popular and everyone just wants to jump in the bandwagon one way or another, whether it makes sense for them or not. And so, yeah, like there's Walmart, like there was like Budweiser the other day, The Gap, like, all these different retails that, maybe there's something to it and this kind of takes off and there's actual use for NFTs in this like very traditional retailers. But from the start, it just like looks like they just want to jump in this new hot buzzword. And not much else. Like I'd like to see how they actually implement crypto and NFTs, because if it's just like sticking this thing on and not really kind of changing anything, which for like I think the skepticism comes from for organizations to actually adopt this in the way that it makes sense. So in a decentralized way, giving users and clients ownership, giving people say in the way the organization is run, giving governance rights and making NFTs just like an intrinsic part of the experience. To do that, like these huge companies and corporations would have to like basically overhaul their entire way of working. So I think that's where the skepticism comes from. Since I don't believe they'll do that, I think they will most likely just stick this NFT in some kind of like haphazard way and be like, okay, we're like doing NFTs now. We're innovating, and that's it. So I don't know. That's why I don't get so excited. Yeah,
getting on the bandwagon. But I think for me, it's just the brand of Walmart, because for every crypto conversation where I've been shut down with the line, yeah, but Elaine, I can't use crypto in Walmart. And for me, because everyone knows the name Walmart, it's just my moment, and it's like, before they ask me, well, Elaine, how does food taste in the metaverse? And the thing is, we have no idea, right? But I think what I can make out of this is, and for a fact, that the pipelines are being built, and it is, just a US company that is super massive. See what I did?
I like what you did there. You just dropped my metaverse name in there, just for the giggles. This story actually dovetailed with one which dropped yesterday, which was that Coinbase. I'm sorry, gang, I didn't put this one in the notes before the show, but Coinbase struck a deal with Mastercard to do NFT payments. And the idea is to smooth out the onboarding process for people. And I think it's very clear what Coinbase's strategy here is. They think normies will go nuts for NFTs in a way that they won't do for traditional crypto, or they might be wary of in traditional crypto. And therefore, the sooner they can get that door open for as many people as possible, their share price will take.
When is the door opening? Because I keep hearing Coinbase doing this marketplace, putting Visa in place, doing this, doing that. Can I actually get anything from their NFT marketplace yet? Is it a functioning thing yet?
Well, NFT markets are rife with wash trading, and they're rife with scam, dangerous activity. There's actually a story we're going to cover later on, which kind of unpacks this a little bit. I think Coinbase has got to be very careful. I've been really, really careful about how they do it, because any wrong step, and it's literally curtains for everything. Interestingly enough, Opensea yesterday also announced they had acquired Dharma, which was a lending protocol. Primarily, this seemed like they just wanted to buy the team and not necessarily the product itself. But again, same story, easing the process of onboarding new customers. And it's very, very clear. If you look at who buys NFTs, it's the same people over and over again. It's the same circle jerk, same thing you saw in altcoins. It's just that the NFTs, it's an easier passage for new people who aren't in crypto or aren't related to trading to come in and join this party. So, making that process easier is the goal for everyone. OpenSea strategy is also to go massively multi-chain, by the way, because they can clearly see the likes of Solana building up a pretty hefty NFT kind of moat there as well. So there's all sorts of weird things going on, but they're all designed to make onboarding NFT customers better. And when I did a film on art blocks, I think it was 5 or 6 months ago, there was one thing that was abundantly clear. Art blocks had a surfeit of new artists. They couldn't get them into the platform soon enough, but they didn't have enough buyers. And so if you want these platforms to grow and you want the category to grow, you need more buyers. So anything that eases that process and it becomes a communications problem as much as anything else, that is what these companies need. Interestingly enough, one last insight, when I'm looking at the hiring that these companies are doing, it's all devs, engineering, some executive, no communications. And it's interesting because we're talking about great marketing and teams that need to market themselves and communicate better, and you don't get a better communicator than Charles Hoskinson and his project Cardano. We have seemingly a brace of surge-related headlines when it comes to Cardano. Land prices surge on Cardano, Metaverse project Pavia, and Cardano prices surge on Sunday Swap, DEX, Catalyst. So Cardano was up when everything else was down, and when Cardano moves, all the Cardano fans go, "Ooh, it's real, it's happening!" And then my timeline's full of stuff I don't need to read anymore. Cami, what's your take?
Well, it seems like it's been like such a long road for Cardano to finally be live and have stuff happening on it. So they've been building this network since when, like 2017, I want to say, maybe, at least. And it's been kind of okay, like the network is live, but there's no transactions. Then there's no smart contracts, and just recently, like the smart contracts went live, but it's been like this very long process of building, but nothing real kind of being there. All the while, like ADA, Cardano's token just like kept climbing, market cap kept getting bigger and bigger, even with like no activity actually on the chain, which is pretty remarkable to me. And like it hasn't dropped since like.
It does have one activity. You can stake. That's
okay,
it.
well,
that's
something. That's something, but so I don't know. I think that's always been very odd to me how inefficient the crypto market seems to be at times. It's like, like you look at the top 10, 20 coins, and some things are pretty inexplicable. Like Doge is pretty inexplicable to me. Cardano is too. I mean, yeah, it's like a big project, lots of potential, but so far it's only been about its potential. It's like this like former Ethereum founder is making this like very academic based blockchain. They're testing everything out and taking forever to do it. And maybe it kind of is like a contender for like the top smart contract chain. But that's all it's been. And it's never like, even with just that, it's always been like in the top 10 coins. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. But now there's like actual stuff happening. So,
well, okay.
Yeah.
Actual stuff happening. Let's just take a look at this. Sunday swap.
Sunday
swap. Not as in like the day of the week. No, it's the ice cream.
Mm.
We're still doing food related DeFi. Sunday swap, you'll be pleased to know, is a Uniswap fork. It looks exactly like Uniswap. It smells exactly like Uniswap. Let me ask you, is it difficult to fork Uniswap? No. Is it difficult to deploy a Uniswap fork? No. There are about 1 million of them now. This thing is live. This is one of the reasons why the token price was booming. Mm-hmm. And it's a fully functional beta that doesn't really function. I had a look at it today. Oh lordy.
Doesn't work?
Wow. I mean, if that's the reason why the token price has gone up, then everyone needs to check themselves before they get utterly. It's ridiculous. Mm. It's ridiculous. I would love to see this ecosystem thrive because there's so much value there and it can do something. But honestly, I mean, yeah, it's like, do this 2 years ago and okay, do this now, and you're like, oh, for it to be newsworthy. I mean, come on. So. I
lost you already, man. All I heard was food coins.
There's a level of expectation that you meet at a certain point, and like Cardano seems to be 3 years behind it at every point. Except when
Cardano,
it comes to the price.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Woo. So Cardano, I mean.
So Sunday Swap is a decentralized exchange built on Cardano, and this is the first kind of very small but kind of vital building block for DeFi to thrive and flourish on a chain, because then you invite LPs to come and provide liquidity, and then the whole engine starts to spin up. But I suspect that most of the value is still constipated and locked on Cardano in staking and can't get out. So yeah. Anyway, you can see where I stand on Cardano.
Yeah. I think you're right that it was like about the announcement that, oh, okay, there's like now this like DeFi building block on Cardano, and people got excited, and that's why the token rose. But I don't think any of those token buyers are actually using Sunday Swap, So
I mean, look, Cardano to me is just the sleepiest coin. Okay, sorry, but okay, despite all this happening, I mean, what was it? I read something like Pavia. It looks like you could buy squares of mint chocolate looking squares. All this excitement's going on. The price of it at the moment is what, $1.43. With all this happening, let's not forget, it did reach to an all-time high of just over $3. So despite all this happening, it's not even anywhere near its all-time high.
Well, nothing really is at the moment because the market's a little uncertain. But those squares of metaverse land, there's quite a few projects that are selling land. I mean, who knows? Who knows where that's going to go? There's almost too many. Solana was also in the press. The Bank of America has told people in a report that it is supposedly the Visa of the digital asset ecosystem. Visa in the sense that it is fast and cheap and highly scalable. But Solana's having some issues with outages at the moment, which I don't think are necessarily fatal or anything else, but it's definitely one of those projects that's had like a killer 18 months. And I've actually spoken to core members of the team on numerous occasions, and they're really fun. I really like those guys. I shouldn't have any favorites,
but the
Solana
team
they hustle.
Solana team or
No,
Bank of America?
the Solana team, and I've always enjoyed kind of bashing heads with them. They own it big time. Cami, what are your thoughts on Solana? We've never really actually talked about it.
Solana, like I think they what I like about them is that they are doing they've innovated, and they are taking things a step forward. They have this unique approach to blockchain scaling. They're like a super smart team. But I've been super disappointed, to be honest, to see all the outages this year. I mean, it's like the blockchain is out, goes out like every week or so. So I think that is pretty unforgivable, pretty bad for a blockchain, for a network that is supposed to be, reliable, immutable, uncensorable, where you're supposed to, trust this decentralized group of validators to carry out hopefully billions of dollars in transactions. You cannot be down. That just can't happen. So that's been really disappointing to see, because I thought that, I still think they're a smart team and that they're doing actual innovation. It's not Binance Smart Chain just copying Ethereum and tweaking a couple of things and forking everything. No, they're actually innovating. So I like and I respect that. But I think it's really bad. It's really bad how often the network is down.
They've got a big old runway. They raised 314 million back in June. I think their original ICO was 25 million or something. Don't correct me on that. I think somewhere around that. So they raised a lot of money, and they are ready for a bear market if it happens, and good to go. Yeah, I think Solana are going to be fine. They aggressively hustle and get stuff done for those outages. Yeah.
We had the co-founder of Solana on Real Vision, actually, Anatoly, and I remember the person who was hosting, I can't remember his name at the top of my head, but Solana is trying to make every transaction in the world in the future on the block. And I remember the host was saying something like, this is something that should be on the founding fathers, so to speak, in the future of, making transactions work on the block. I mean, that is a huge statement, but it just makes me think Solana, I haven't used it much to actually suffer the outage that you guys mentioned. But I just think compared to Ethereum right now, it's just the gas fees. I keep saying this week after week, but I haven't got to it yet. But I am actually going to start messing around with buying an NFT on Solana and just check out what it feels to not pay as much gas fees for an NFT, which would be nice.
Oh, trust me, I know. I do tutorials every week. And I stopped doing step-by-step tutorials because I was spending $400, $500 each week. We are going back and doing step-by-step things, but Cami and I have always talked about the fact that we need to be chain agnostic, but also in a weird way, kind of always remember where we've come from. And Cami wrote the book, The Infinite Machine, about Ethereum. Ethereum leads the way in so many things, but you're absolutely right. There is a huge barrier here. And so this year we've sort of taken up where we left it a little bit last year, just looking at other chains. We've been looking at layer 2s as well. We looked at Metis. We're looking at Phantom this week. Phantom's an old project, relatively speaking, again from 2017. It's a DAG, so it's not a blockchain, but it's EVM compatible. You can use MetaMask on it. It's pretty easy to get over there, and it has one of the kind of rockstar developers, well, two of the rockstar developers in the DeFi space actively building stuff there and bootstrapping what probably is going to be the kind of hot DeFi project of the first quarter of this year, which is V33, and it's the spiritual successor to the Ohm protocol, which blew up last year and is now blown down or deflated, or what do you want to call it? The V33, this is like major alpha right here, and you won't be able to buy it, so I'm not making anything go away. But V33 is Andre Cronje and Danny, I can never pronounce his last name, but Danny from Abracadabra. Exactly. This is their brainchild, and it's wild. Cami, do you know anything about V33?
No, I don't. To be honest, I haven't kept tabs on that. Yeah, I'll have to wait for your breakdown on it. I know that like Phantom is kind of like very promising. I know that like these big shots are involved. So that's basically all kind of I know about V33 now. I think I'd like to see how it's different from Ohm, which has like unraveled pretty quickly this year.
Well, so the difference here is in the V bit, which is VE, which stands for voter escrow. And we're going deep in the weeds here, but Curve Finance is basically developed this idea of locking up tokens for a boosted reward, which is basically a form of staking. But Ohm also had staking, but nothing ever got locked up. So with Curve, you lock up for a certain period of time, and you're stuck. You can't withdraw it, and it sort of stabilizes the protocol. V33 is a version of Ohm that stabilizes the protocol through vote escrow.
Oh my God, you say you're not all over Solana, but you're so deep into Solana.
This isn't Solana, this is Phantom. This is Phantom. You start to escalate, but this is the issue that we have. Like DeFi is exploding everywhere. NFTs are exploding everywhere. And some really interesting things are happening on other chains that aren't necessarily on our radar, but we have to take the time to go and explore. And, bridging over to another chain is difficult. But you can get around it by using a centralized exchange and these kind of things. So you said you want to go and explore other chains. Go and look at Solana, go and look at Phantom, go and look at Terra, go and look at Polkadot, Kusama.
Avalanche,
there are some fantastic things. And Avalanche, yeah, there are some fantastic things being built and designed, and they are cheap. Yeah.
I'm the owner of IreneDAO. That's where as far as my journey takes me. Yeah, I don't know how I did that.
It's a good start.
Okay, thank you. Yes, because I did the whole .eth name thing, and I was like, oh, what's the next with Ethereum Solana? So I'm messing with that, and now I'm the proud owner of IreneDAO. Ting.
And if only everything was that simple. There's so much in DeFi that is incredible.
It's getting so complicated.
Yeah. I appreciate talking to you two, so I can try to be with it as much as I can. But yeah.
When we first started, it was like Ethereum, Compound, Aave, Yearn,
lending,
by summer it looks like a kid's game compared with what's happening right now. It's getting big. It's taking off. Yeah.
It is. And what's interesting is the way that NFTs and DAOs and the Metaverse all kind of sit underneath DeFi in some way. But DeFi is kind of receding into the background and becoming this engine to power everything else. But you're starting to see tokens and LPing just become standard. But that's DeFi.
It's like infrastructure.
Exactly. We're up against time almost, but I don't want to let you go without talking about this crazy thing that I've seen on Twitter, which is the thing called IreneDAO. Can you hit that before I let you go? What is that all about? What is it?
Yes. In a nutshell, there was a DAO that was bootstrapped around a bunch of stickers that celebrated an Instagram model called IreneDAO. She's from mainland China, and she posts delightful pictures of herself in her underwear or in a bikini on Instagram with memes attached. These NFTs were released for free. It was a free mint. Bosh, done. And then the price just went bananas because this was an entry point for the IreneDAO. And the IreneDAO is basically built around the idea of simping. Do you know what a simp is, Elaine?
Oh my God, they're going for 0.6. What is simping? Why is it worth 0.6 ETH?
They were going for a lot more than that. They were going for 2.5 ETH.
3, yeah.
Yeah. A simp, basically, it's an internet slang thing for a young man who is overly obsessed with a woman who may or may not be a nice person, and slips into their DMs wanting to see their feet. Essentially, it's horrendous. It's horrendous, and they've culturally reappropriated this term simp. I forget the actual acronym, but they turned it into something else. Simplicity, blah 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 blah. But anyway, this DAO has bootstrapped itself, got all this money. And now they're basically creating a movement around something called So-Called, and that is going to be a decentralized version of OnlyFans. What has happened is that this idea has been forked, I think 3 times already since that happened. Basically, the recipe is this: are you a hot girl with big boobs who regularly poses in her underwear? If so, then this is for you. Launch a DAO, free mint, off you go, done. It is worth saying that Irene herself wasn't due any royalties from these NFTs. But what is so absurd is that the week before, a young man from Indonesia called Gozali posted a bunch of really, really weird photos of himself at his computer for 5 years every day just to record his journey as a student. It tells you nothing about him. It's the same image every day.
Oh my God, what is this like?
He released them on Opensea, and like within 2 days, the thing had blown up. The most extraordinary thing. And now he's partnering up with IreneDAO. It's just like, you can't make this shit up.
Now.
Yes.
And then
they basically started a cultural movement for those who feel cut out or abused in some way by Web 2 to just do. I don't know where it's going to go. I had the best time researching this story. It's such a nice community. I hate to say anything negative about them, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I made a helpful video on the Defiant. You can watch it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
I released it on Monday. It's 5 minutes long, and it will give you everything you need to know. But this is, how are we supposed to keep on top of all this?
What does it DAO actually do?
I have no idea. Basically, the IreneDAO was essentially it was a proof of concept for So-Called. So there actually is this platform that they're trying to bootstrap OnlyFans. But the idea will be that any influencer can launch their own DAO, and they can govern the way the profits from activities will be. You can own a piece of an influencer basically. So it's another form.
It's another form of social token. I can't stand it.
Now, I know I said this was the year of DAOs, but seriously, WTF is this? Look, it's definitely a social experiment that worked. I feel like when you talk about DAOs, it's about governance, structure. So, that may have a solid project that they're already building up from. But, apparently it's not just governance. It can also be clearly a hot mess too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is. Because there's a meme. The meme is strong in this one. Let me see if I can find because you've got these simp memes, and they reappropriated simp.
And they call it sincerity, integrity, whatever.
Title of your next video, Robin. Clearly.
Yeah, exactly. And so if there's a meme and the meme is strong, then people will cluster around the meme, and you forget that there is a bunch of people who are simps. And then they identify quite positively as simps. And this is the first time they've been targeted in a positive way. And Irene herself seems lovely. It's such a nice community. And why shouldn't they have a DAO? That's the thing. Why shouldn't they have a DAO? No, they didn't sell these tokens. They gave them away for free. So fair play to them. Fair play to them.
All right.
I find it really hard to be critical of it because nobody got hurt here.
Oh, well, Ghazali.
And then even Mike Novogratz is a fan, and he came out on Twitter and said, "I'm a fan of this. I think this is great." Yes, of Galaxy Digital. So it's easy to be cynical, but literally.
Wait, what did he do? Did he buy one or something?
Yes, he did.
He said he's part of IreneDAO now or something.
He did. He's a supporter. He's a fan. He's a simp. So
I'm just very conflicted with this, but whatever. Power to them if it works. It's just definitely not for me. I don't know. Honestly, this is 100% personal opinion, but my gut reaction to seeing just people piling on images of a woman taking her clothes off, and that's it. That's all the value proposition. I don't know. It's just pretty. I don't know. There's no substance there. You know, there's nothing there besides kind of like this woman like who's, you know, taking her clothes off.
But that kind of is the substance, though. In the Instagram model, in the OnlyFans model, that absolutely is monetizable. That absolutely has value. Simplicity, integrity, meaning, and purpose. We shall have to see what the purpose was. But I know what the purpose of Elaine Lee is right now, and it's to give us a summary of the day's events. Give us your final thoughts, Elaine. How are you feeling now? You've heard about all of this.
Oh, Christ. I think my last one is just, look, going back to earlier on, I told you I went to an in real life NFT event, and it was at a museum called, no, not a museum. I shouldn't say it's a museum. It's the Institute of Contemporary Arts in London. It's on the same street where literally Buckingham Palace is. And it was just a really intimate event, over a couple of hundred people. And, you know, one boy just asked this one question, and it really stuck with me. And he said, put his hands up, and he goes, I sold one NFT, gave me like a massive high. And then no one's ever touched my collection since. And then he's reached the very low. And then it was just from one of the panel on the guests, actually, a former guest of Real Vision too, Maliha Abidi, recognize how, you know, his feelings. And she just gave me a little moment of realization there with this whole NFT space. You know, in a traditional art space, she said it takes years to launch your art, but with NFTs, 8 months, your project can be sold out and it's on to the next thing. You know, the NFT space is fast, but I think, you just don't give up on this journey where people who are in NFTs, you look for the right network. And, you know, like we've touched base, that NFTs is actually a really supportive bunch of rascals on the internet. So just do it at your own pace. I think that's my final thoughts for this show.
Well, Cami, can you rein in your disdain for one last final refrain? What are you saying?
No, look, I think this is the point of NFTs, you know, like they give power to anyone to leverage it and monetize it and find their community and reach their community directly. And that's what Irene Xiao is doing. And that's what so many artists are doing, and why this has become like such a powerful medium and tool. So I think this is the point of this space. So that's very positive. I have like my own personal kind of feelings about kind of, you know, women exploiting their bodies for that. I think that women are more than that. And I don't know, like, of course, like everyone is free to do whatever they want. And she's free to do that. But I mean, that's just not kind of what I would do personally. So that's kind of like where my kind of initial reaction for IreneDAO comes from. It's like, I wish women would do other things online, but, you know, there's profit there. So, you know, money talks. So that's kind of where that comes from. But like I said, I think this is exactly what NFTs are made for. Just like giving voice and giving community to anyone who wants to participate.
Well, there was some positive news for a women's collection. Well, the women were represented, were signed by Guy Osiri, who also signed Bored Ape Yacht Club's former manager of Madonna, U2, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Big story. It's huge for them. Great team. Mm-hmm. We've had them on the podcast. Really awesome. Wasn't so good for Beanie, however, one of the NFT space's biggest influencers. There was a massive expose on him, doxing him via NFT ethics. We won't go into the full story of that. But it wasn't pleasant. And of course, it's all allegations, so we shouldn't take everything we read as gospel. But there is just an orgy of evidence here that suggests that Mr. Beanie has been up to some pretty nasty stuff. And of course, he's being people are looking to cancel him. But I tell you what, though, unless something really terrible happens, we will not be cancelled. And we will see you all next week for more of the same. Who have we got on next week, Elaine?
Next week, you have the irresponsibly long Rao Pal, who will be joining you guys on the Defiant and Real Vision.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. It's always a fun chat. We will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this. It was long, but it was good. This was the Defiant versus Real Vision. See you next time.
See you.
Bye.